Well, hello, my friends. Today I'm going to do a follow-up video on my video that I'd had about spiritual weight gain, why healers put on weight. So if you haven't watched that video, folks, that's where the context is. And if you can't be asked to watch that video, let me simplify it. I talked about how working with energy and healers have a tendency to put on weight. I told them why, and I told them what to do if that happens. And this video is based on the questions that came at me when people were asking me, well, tell me more, Adam, tell me more. And why did I have to listen to 10 minutes to get there? In fact, that was a fun comment that I loved. So fair play, folks. This is for all of the above. I'm going to explain in this video the broader context of energy and the reasons why, first, we put on weight energetically and then we put it on physically. I'm going to show you in a bit more detailed way this one. So it might be a slightly longer video. I don't really know. I'm going to go with the flow of it. And this is based on the few feedback points that I've had so far. So let me simplify it. Let me just cover what we covered in the last video. So our energy is like a magnet. And healers, if you haven't been trained in offsetting energy, which most healing systems don't train you in, folks, and this is from somebody that's trained in about 6 different types of energy system to quite a high level, including Reiki. I'm a Reiki master, and what I was pointing out is that a lot of Reiki masters are overweight because this is a massive thing that's missing from the Reiki teachings that I believe. This is misunderstood. In fact, the most senior healers that I met, the gurus, the one at the top of the chain, all of them were overweight, folks. All of them. Every single one had a few extra pounds. Oh, Adam, did you really say that? No, you can't talk about people's weight. Well, I'm here to talk about people's weight because I've seen it. I've seen this dynamic play out, and I've seen that there's a missing link in the teachings of energy practices. This is for healers and empaths. You'll also find, probably, if you know nurses or people in the caring profession, that they're probably overweight. I had a lot of overweight nurses during my time in the health service. And this is about people that care. People that care have a tendency to be overweight, and I'll tell you why. The short version of this is that when we heal, we're energetic. Our energy field is magnetic. And when we are with someone, we take on board their energy and they take on board ours. And the reason that you know this, especially if you're a healer or an empath, is you start a conversation wanting to help someone and they've got a problem. And you finish the conversation with them telling you that they feel great and you feel utterly drained. There's a symptom, folks. If you know that symptom, then I'm talking to you. It's you that I need to speak to. If you don't have that symptom, if you finish all of your conversations and you feel uplifted and energized, then you don't need this video. Oh, and also if you're have a reasonable weight, if you don't feel like you need to lose any weight. So if you tick all of those boxes, you so totally don't need to watch this, folks. But for the people that do have a few extra pounds, and I'm not here to judge weight gain. I'm not here to judge it. You know, I was a fat kid at school. I put on a few pounds recently with a trip to Ireland, drinking too much Guinness, which prompted a 7-day fast to reverse the symptoms. But I was highly motivated to do something about it. And the reason that I was highly motivated and the reason that I was able to do that is for all the reasons I'm going to tell you in this video. This video is critical if you want to understand weight gain, especially if you're a person that's been on diet after diet after diet after diet, and it doesn't work, folks. It doesn't work. Well, there's a surprise, because if you don't get this part right, if you don't deal with the energy of weight gain, then everything else you're going to do is going to fail. So let's go. Let's start digging, folks. Let's go to the roots of this. Energy transfers, we're magnetic. I gave you in the last video an exercise of how to offset energy and how to set up your energy field when you're speaking to someone who is offloading, So before we go any further, let me just say this. This is the missing link. This is the root of all of the questions that came at me. The only limit when you work with energy is your imagination. Just because I give you an exercise, it's a bit like climbing a mountain. There's a well-trodden route that a lot of people use, but there's also multiple other routes that people want to get to that mountain with. And no route is better than the other. They all get you to the top. Some might be harder, but they get you to the top. Some might be more dangerous. They get you to the top, folks. They get you to the top. Now, some routes are more difficult and you won't persevere. You might fall off. The likelihood of you falling off is much higher. With energy, the the thing is to use it regularly. This is not a one-time fix-all plan, folks. Working with energy is a bit like taking showers. If you stop taking showers for a few days, you're going to start minging, folks. And there's no point coming to me a couple of weeks down the line and saying showers don't work because I stink, but I haven't done one for 2 weeks because I stopped using them because they stopped working. It's exactly the same with energy. You have to continuously maintain this, folks. It's not a one-time fix. It's not a single fix. You have to do it. And I have to emphasize this stuff because if you've got a lifetime of weight gain, you need the fundamentals. You need to get this part right. You need the mindset, folks. You need the mindset. But the mindset only comes when you understand the principles and you understand the methodology of the formula that I'm going to give you now so that you can go in and have these conversations. And at the end, rather than them feel great and you feel drained, that they feel great and you feel great as well. Just imagine that, folks. Just imagine. Just imagine what your life will be like if you can have these conversations with people that are dumping on you. And at the end of it, you feel uplifted as well. You don't feel drained anymore. This is for you. Now, in the previous video, and I'll go over this again, I will re-emphasize this because these points are really important and they can't be emphasized enough, folks. They really can't. So you take on board other people's energy. Now, we do this from a young age. This is why parents do stuff to us and then we hate it later in life. Because through a mutual self-preservation, we take on board the energy of our parents as a toddler because we can't fight and we can't fly, especially when we can't move. We absorb energy, which is why we heal our parents. You healed your parents as a kid. This is an important concept for you to know, that through a mutually self-enlightened process, it was in your best interest to heal your parents, which is why you absorbed a lot of their energy, which is why you're dealing with family bullshit right now. But that's other videos, folks. We're not talking about family bullshit in this one. But there's plenty of videos where I do talk about this. If you've got to deal with that as well, which you probably do if you're overweight, then that's a different piece of the jigsaw. Today, we're just going to look at the weight loss part. So when you don't understand these principles and you have these interactions and people dump on you and they feel great at the end of it and you feel low energy, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what happens next. When you're low energy, you'll have less motivation. When you've got less motivation, you'll do less physical activity. When you do less physical activity, you'll put on more weight. And the odds are you'll also comfort eat as well, which is a very regular thing for people with low energy. We comfort ourselves with food. It's a very common dynamic that healers, empaths, light workers have. And not just healers, light workers, empaths, folks, just decent people. You don't have to identify with any of them. Helping your mates. If you help your mates or somebody in your family, or if you're listening to people just dump their stuff on you, the same principles apply. These formulas apply to all of it. It's about learning to manage your energy. Because if you feel more uplifted at the end of these communications, then you'll have more energy, you're more likely to be active, you're more likely not to put on weight. That's the fact. That's how it manifests. That's how energy that's how spiritual weight turns into physical weight. We feel drained. We don't have the energy. We don't have the motivation. We don't have the mojo. And then when our mojo goes, our mind starts telling us a different story. Because when we put on weight, we then start beating ourselves up, which is the methodology of the average empath. Sound familiar, folks? Does that sound familiar? Well, if that does, this is absolutely for you. And all jokey comments apart, I can't emphasize this enough. This could be a 2-minute video. In fact, the 2-minute video is do this stuff and lose weight, folks. And here's the exercise. I'll give you the exercise now. I'll give it to you right now so you don't have to wait any longer. And then I'll explain more at the end of it. So the bottom line is when you work with energy, folks, the only restriction is your imagination. And this energy exercise that I'm going to give you right now, you can change it. I'll give you a couple of variants of it. I'm just going to wing it off the top of my head because I know how energy works and it's about the principle, it's about the formula. So one thing that you can do, we talked in the other, if you're sitting down, there's somebody about to dump their problems on you. We talked about having an energy rod between the two of you and just imagining it protruding up and every energy going to that rod and straight into the center of the earth. The rod connects to the center of the earth, and any energy, you set an intention that it goes into that rod and it goes straight to the center of the earth. Now, some people say, oh, that doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem very protective. Here's a different one. Here's a different way to do it. Set it up so that you have a bubble of energy around you. You have a bubble of energy around you, and there's a magnet between the two of you. And that magnet takes all the energy, or a mirror, even a mirror, magnet, mirror, or a duck. Put a duck there, folks, the energy duck that's going to absorb all of the energy and it's going to waddle to the center of the earth and dissipate, or it's going to fly up into the universe and it's going to dissipate. So we can dissipate energy above or below. We can capture energy that's happening in the here and now, and we can send it to the earth or we can send it to the universe. That's how it works. And that might sound a little bit out there, but if you've worked with energy, it probably doesn't. If it does, well, just go with it, folks, because this stuff works. Test it. Test it. It works. So go and test it. And then if it doesn't work, then come back and tell me. But if it doesn't work, it's because you're not using it. You're not doing it. You have to do it regularly. You have to do it every interaction, folks. So just imagine a magnet stuck between you, a little safe bubble around you. You can do it that way if you want. Always ground yourself, folks. With all energy exercises, always ground yourself first. Grounding is imagining a ball of energy at the center of the earth and a rod connecting, an energy rod connecting to the base of your spine. Now, some say, oh, that doesn't sound right. So other people ground, they just imagine roots coming out of their feet and growing into the ground. That's another way to ground. There's hundreds of different ways you can ground, folks. I'm just giving you one route. I'm giving you one route up the mountain. There's loads of other routes to get there. There's loads of other different ways to do this. And the only restriction is your imagination. It's your imagination. So there you go. Ground yourself, create a barrier or create something between you and the person speaking. Allow that to absorb all the energy while you're speaking. And then either send it up to the universal grid above you or send it down to the center of the earth for it to dissipate. Not yours, not your energy. But not only that, you can fill yourself with white light as you're doing this. You're connected below as you're grounded. You can imagine a ball of white light or the sun or the universe or the universal grid or whatever you want to connect with, energizing you as you're having these conversations. And if you slow down your breathing while you're having these conversations, you will feel better. You'll feel more in control. You're healing yourself whilst creating a space for the other person to dump, to offload. So rather than you taking it all on board and feeling drained at the end, you can heal yourself and let them heal themselves by holding the space for them to feel better. So you can listen. This is called acute listening, folks. Active listening. That you're listening, you're holding space, call it whatever you want. You're not healing someone, you're creating a space for them to heal themselves. But here's the critical difference. You are using that space to heal yourself, to energize yourself while you're listening. While you're listening. Let them speak, let them dump. You are connected below, you're connected above, and you're energizing as you speak. Simultaneously, you've either got a protective bubble around you or you've got the energy duck sat between you. Now, that could be whatever. It could be a badger, for all I know. Could be a mirror, could be a magnet. There's something between you and the other person that is absorbing all of the energy of that interaction. That is the point. You can put whatever you like there, a lake, a magnet, a bird, a badger, an ant, that whatever it is. There's the only limit is your imagination. The point being that you are holding the space and you're healing yourself as you're listening. And it doesn't stop you from being a good listener. It just stops you from being attached to the problem. That you're not there to solve the problem. You're not there to heal the person. You are there to allow them to heal themselves. And to do that, you do a better job when you're healing yourself simultaneously while you're doing it. You're not making it about them. Yes, you're there for them. Yes, they will get the result. Yes, you are active listening, which is a gift in itself. It's healing because you are empowering them to heal themselves by giving them the space to say what they need to say to feel good at the end of it. But the critical thing is at the end of it, you feel good as well, folks, because you're healing yourself. And this is the important part, folks. So get this right and everything changes. Everything changes. I'm telling you this, folks. So there it is. There it is. I could talk about this all day. Indeed, I probably will. I'll probably do my usually and what my usual and look at the comments after this and record another video if I need to. But this is how you offset weight loss. You do it energetically first, and then you'll have more energy and motivation to lose the weight. You'll be more motivated to eat less. You'll be more motivated to exercise more. You'll be more motivated to do the fast, to do the detox that you need because you love yourself so much that your energy is at peak levels, folks. And this is all about your relationship with yourself and the need to stop people pleasing and start pleasing the most important person in your life, which is you. And you do that by loving yourself enough to want to feel better when you're helping your friends, by loving yourself enough to set this space up so that you can energize and heal when you're doing what you do. You don't have to change anything, and you get just as good a results for them, except the critical difference is that you feel better at the end of it. Hallelujah, folks. Hallelujah. And if that resonates with you, go out there and do it because this stuff works. And if it doesn't, by all means, ask your questions, but go out and do it first. Do it first, ask questions later. If it's to do with the energy process, ask a question, and I will tell you just use your imagination, be creative with this process, and you'll feel better and do what feels right for you. If you do that, folks, you will feel better, you will lose weight, and you will thank me because this is as simple or as difficult as you want it to be. Understand the principle of how energy works, understand the principle of setting your space up, and understand the principle of maintaining your energetic flow, regardless what anyone else is doing, and your life will change, and so will your weight. There you go, folks. There you go, the magic wand. You will lose weight, my Jedi friends. And if you've enjoyed this, you want to lose more weight, you want to be kept accountable, you want easy exercises that will help you with your life, then please do subscribe if you're not already done so. There's another little video there for you. And by all means, share your comments, share your wisdom, get involved in the community, and I will catch you later at a lighter you, a better you, and a feel better you. Enjoy, my friends, get the results, and lose your energetic weight.